Hi everyone, how are you doing today? As of recording this, the new season came out a few days ago, so me and a bunch of other content creators will be talking about our first impressions of this season, starting with the skins. Personally, I like the skins. My favorite is One Ball, but that's just my opinion. However, I decided to get one of my personal favorite skin reviewers ever to be in this video. Everyone say hi to Mad Max 66.
The Chapter 2 Remix Battle Pass is here, and it's pretty awesome. Unlike the Season OG Battle Pass, I actually like every single skin this season has to offer. I'd say my two favorite skins have to be the Chaos Director and One Ball. I'm a sucker for characters who hide their faces, and these skins do that pretty damn well. Chaos Director's alts are really sick looking, and One Ball's jacket style makes an already sleek looking design that much better. In terms of the other skins, I think they're just as good as Chaos Director and One Ball. Undercover Sky is simply adorable looking. Meowdis is probably my favorite version of the Meowscles character, and Dynamo Tiantina is a significant upgrade from her Chapter 2 Season 2 counterpart in basically every way. I personally would have made Meowdis the bonus skin over her given his golden status, but it's not a deal breaker or anything. I know some people were a bit disappointed with the so-called lack of variety when it came to which skins were chosen from which seasons, as they mainly came from seasons 1 and 2, but I don't really mind that in the slightest. It's pretty clear Epic wanted to primarily remix Midas and his crew, and in that regard, I think they succeeded. All in all, this is just a really solid lineup of skins. They all look good, and they do a pretty good job at representing the early days of Chapter 2. Good stuff.
Thank you, Max. Now, let's get into the map changes. Personally, I like the changes they made. Now, as you can tell, the map changed, but I got my friend Ori Plays to go into detail.
So today, I'm talking about the difference between Chapter 2, Season 2 map, and the Fortnite Remix map. First of all, they haven't exactly changed the map, but more like upgraded it. I really liked how they named Snoop Dogg's mansion the Dog Pound because of obvious reasons. I do like how they kept most of the POIs to keep it original. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ori. Now, there are some bad things about this season, however, I don't really want to rant. I mean, why would I when I have someone who loves to rant? Introducing Rem Rants.
Well, my name is Rem Rants, and I'm a fellow Fortnite YouTuber. Let's cut right to the chase. Chapter 2 Remix probably has one of the most confusing season launches of all time, with, at least in my opinion, the worst live event ever, followed by a pretty great reimagining of Chapter 2. I think that if you distilled the spirit of Fortnite into a singular season, it's the one we're playing right now. With some pretty great sounding updates in the near future, I'm excited to see what the rest of this month has in store, although I do think that the live events are outward expressions of Fortnite's failure to recapture what they used to be. Pretty much every live event, not including the mini events, in the last 3 years have all been pretty bad. 2 of them have just been ads with little to no story significant, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I don't mind a Fortnite concert. I just wish that concerts were advertised as such beforehand, so our expectations aren't shattered like they were these past couple times around. I think that the fact that Epic has already announced the Chapter End event is mostly a concert is a good thing. I'm really excited for what they have in store, and I think that this works pretty well with the season's theme, but as far as first impressions go, I think that the season is really solid. Obviously, early Chapter 2 has one of the most iconic maps of all time, and it's held in such high regard for a reason. I actually really like the Snoop Dogg BOI, and it makes it feel more than just a cheap, lazy copy. That is one thing I respect about the season. Fortnite looks to be putting in far more effort than they did last time around. Now, as far as the loophole goes, this is probably the most balanced Fortnite meta we've seen in an incredibly long time. It was not the most fun, but it is a nice change of pace from how chaotic the latter half of Chapter 5 was. But I think that just about wraps it up. If you like Durman's content, I think you'll definitely like mine. I make weekly Fortnite commentary, and I host a podcast, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Anyways, thank you so much to Durman for the feature. This was a lot of fun, and have a fantastic week.
Thank you for joining today, Rem. As for the difference, which we already basically discussed, but that was just the map, so I got someone to help discuss the other differences. Introducing Pojo.
Thank you for having me on, Dur. But anyways, let's talk about Fortnite Chapter 2 Remix. Essentially, Fortnite Chapter 2 Remix is a spin on the beloved Chapter 2 era of Fortnite that took place around 2020. And in this adaptation of Chapter 2, instead of a rotating map every week or so to a new season theme, Epic decided to compile multiple seasons together at once, that being Season 1, 2, and 3. These seasons are around the time that most people would consider to be Fortnite's peak. Naturally, when news broke out that we were going to be going back to Chapter 2, people were extremely excited. The OG players were because they could re-experience one of their most beloved times playing Fortnite, and the new players were excited because they wanted to see what all the hype was about this chapter back in the day. The community was overall on board with this, but this wouldn't just be Fortnite Chapter 2 with the first 3 seasons. No, it would have rap theme aesthetics as well, featuring artists like Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Ice Spice, and even Juice WRLD. Giving more reason behind the nickname for this season, Remix, and also to bring OG Chapter 2 players back to the game, and so that way, they're not just re-experiencing the same thing all over again. Now, admittedly, the community was frightened with the idea of having famous rappers being a part of the season, fearing that would take over the aspect of, we're going back to Chapter 2, but with a twist, and turning it into, we're going back to Chapter 2, but with everything is completely different and unrecognizable. However, so far the season is doing a phenomenal job of implementing this music aspect into the season. For example, the Dog Pound POI took over the agency, and everyone was worried that it would be completely different and change the POI entirely. However, in reality, it's purely just the agency with a new layer of paint. It has pretty much the same layout, same placement, everything. It's just a different aesthetic with a different boss. Now, this could change as the season progresses, as maybe the new Ice Spice and Eminem locations coming later in the season could possibly have a sour taste in everyone's mouth, but as of now, this whole music theme is being implemented phenomenally. The loot pool for this season is also amazing, bringing back fan favorite items, weapons, and mechanics alike. The new hydraulic cars are amazing to drive around in, and add a new layer of character to what would be just simply a normal vehicle. And the loot pool is covered in all fronts. An amazing selection of ARs, SMGs, snipers, and most importantly of all, shotguns. Shotguns are always a core aspect of any season's meta and loot pool. It sways the pro scene and the general gameplay approach. If the shotgun meta is good, the loot pool is healthy, and if the shotgun meta is bad, the loot pool is unhealthy. But this shotgun meta is one of the best, even with something as simple as tac shotgun and the pump. It goes to show that you really don't have to reinvent the wheel for a loot pool for it to still be effective.
Thank you, Pojo. Now, someone who told me they wanted to nerd out in this video was my friend, DanoSam8, so enjoy hearing what he had to say.
In my opinion, I think this season is pretty good and faithful to the source material. I would say that the only bad parts are Meowdis' eyes, which look a little bit creepy, and I think should be more like the original Meow School's eyes, where they're like black beads. Also, one change I don't really like is the big focus on all the musical artists, instead of the Fortnite stuff, like miniguns that don't play music when you shoot them. No matter how cool that detail is, probably wasn't necessary. And also, miniguns are mean to me. I don't like them. Anyways, if there was like one music collab, it wouldn't be that bad. But there's like 3 of them. That's crazy, even for Fortnite. Anyways, listen to this other person yap for about a minute.
Thanks for joining, Sam. We are approaching the end. However, I decided to add a little bonus. Well, specifically, my friend Delta the Wildcard did. And instead of just talking about Chapter 2 OG, he decided to talk about Fortnite missed opportunities as a whole.
Fortnite has had their fair share of missed opportunities from time to time. However, it does seem like more recently, missed opportunities is the only thing they can do. So let's take a look back on some opportunities that they definitely passed up on. Starting off my list, I'm really confused on why in the world, when you select a skin's style, it doesn't update for like your locker preset, or on your friends list, your friends can't tell what style of a certain skin you're using. I feel like that is a very easy thing that they could incorporate into the game, but I just don't know why they haven't done it yet. Now, moving on to Chapter 2, because yes, Chapter 1 didn't really have any opportunities to even take. Very similar to Chapter 1, Chapter 2 doesn't really have a lot of missed opportunities, except for collabs. They could have easily done something even bigger than their first Star Wars collab. I think getting Rey, the Sith Trooper, we got Finn, we got the Imperial Stormtrooper and Kylo Ren. I think those 5 skins are great, but if it was the first Star Wars collab, we should have gotten Luke, Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and Lando. I think those are no-brainers when it comes to Star Wars, so I feel like the first Star Wars collab should have been a lot different. And then, in the Marvel season, we didn't get the most iconic Marvel character of all time, Spider-Man. Granted, we did get him in Chapter 3, Season 1, but in a Marvel-themed season, you're telling me that they did not want to include the most popular Marvel character? I don't buy it. I honestly don't know why they didn't include Spider-Man. They even gave us like a little acolyte that showed off Spider-Man's logo, kind of teasing him to come into that season, and he just never did. But like I said, Chapter 2 doesn't really have a lot of missed opportunities except for collabs, because Chapter 2, like Chapter 1, doesn't really have any opportunities to take. However, that is a lot different with Chapter 3. Specifically, Chapter 3 Season 4. I will always stand by Chapter 3 Season 1, 2, and 3. I loved those 3 seasons. They were awesome. However, Chapter 3 Season 4, the Chrome season, sucked. It sucked so bad. So, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people will probably agree with this, but in the Fracture live event, it should not have existed, or it should have just been a cutscene. We all know that one cutscene that was in the files about the last reality coming in and taking the 0 point. That could have been a really cool lead-in to Chapter 4. It's like the Chapter 3 island gets blown up, the 0 point is stranded, almost gets taken by the last reality, and then moves to somewhere else in the universe and creates a whole nother island. That would have been a really cool setup for Chapter 4, but they just didn't do that. Chapter 4 and Chapter 3 could have been so much better if they just combined the two. So, moving on to Chapter 4, that whole chapter was really a missed opportunity. I say that because in the original plans, Chapter 3 and 4 were supposed to be one chapter. We weren't supposed to get yearly chapters up until then. So, if they just combined the two chapters, it would have been so much better, in my opinion. But I know a lot of you guys like Chapter 4 and Chapter 3. I mean, you guys all have your favorite seasons. I just think if they combined the two chapters, everyone would have just kind of been calm and quiet about it. It would have been fun. Now, Chapter 5. Do I even have to talk about this one? Chapter 4, I could see that the whole chapter was a missed opportunity. But with Chapter 5, there wasn't a single opportunity even taken. I mean, Kratos should have came back in Chapter 5 Season 2. In Chapter 5 Season 3, we should have gotten a Mad Max collab. And in Chapter 5 Season 4, Doctor Doom should have, destroyed the island. And then we go back to Chapter 2 Remix or something. I don't buy it that the rappers just came in after Doctor Doom was defeated, just rapped, and now it's a dream. I don't buy that. But anyway, that was just a quick little list of a lot of the opportunities that Fortnite has missed out on. Huge shout out to Durman for having me on his channel. And why not subscribe to this channel? I think you guys would like it.
Thank you for joining, Delta. Now, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Make sure to subscribe to me and everyone else in this video, and I will see you the next time.